this shit is for looks, man. They don't care how many people die. It's how you play the game. And okay, it's chess. We're going to play a game of chess. My people beat your people, so I get to decide how this thing is going to get divvied up. You're going to make money, but you're not going to be a monopoly, right? You're not going to be the one controlling this place. I am. And then you're going to have to take, whatever I give you, or you're not going to make as much money as me. So this is how you divide it up. Dividing up Africa they're talking about. This is how they do it. See, they send us to go fight. You kill these people because, one, in doing so and having this war, you can get money from the people, from your government system, because you have to make this look legit to the people. And war does look legit to people because people are dying, but not the people who started the shit, not the people who are going to benefit the most from the war. They sent us out there. So it was 1935, Mussolini in Ethiopia, right? 1940s, what's going on? World War II, right? So these same countries that's involved in World War II already met. And this is a real thing. This is not just something that's a myth, right? This is a real thing, as you can see. The Berlin Conference happened. This was a real conference to decide the fate of these people, to divide up the land. They don't hide the shit. And they're still doing it to this day, right? So you had World War II going on, which was the first New World Order for Europe. And you got to understand what took place and what they was trying to do. Again, you have to be smarter than this, man. It is not America and these countries versus these countries. It's not. They don't care. When they drop bombs, they're somewhere chilling. Their family is somewhere alive and well. They're killing people. They don't care who they kill. They're not going to be involved and caught up in it. They're going to make it happen for whatever reason it's going to go towards the agenda. And everybody think, if I send you out there to go and fight, right? Whatever happens to you, happened to you. I'm going to be fine regardless, right? So that's how it goes. They brainwash one of these dictators, and these people are agents, and this is what the CIA has been doing for a long time. Mussolini is no different, right? They get these people into power, they give them money, they give them weapons, and it's all towards an agenda. They push them towards a political ideology and towards a decision. And they go out and they execute this and they do what they're supposed to do, and then they're executed themselves. That's what happens. So while they thinking they're this leader and they're going to be doing this great thing and doing this stuff with the people, they're walking into a trap from day one. It's a trap set up for something to happen that's going to benefit the powers that be. So when we see these wars and these people out there fighting, they have owners. It's the same thing with sports, same thing with the NBA. This team plays against this team from this city. This team plays against this team from this country, no matter what it is. At the end of the day, all these teams have owners. The owners are either at home or sitting in the owner's seat watching the game. They don't got to go down there and play basketball. They don't got to go play soccer. They're sitting there watching everybody go and play, the people paying their money to watch, and they're the ones who reaping all the benefits, the most. They're benefiting the most from a spectator sport, from the people who play ball. Look at it the same way with these countries. We're going to war, we're fighting and dying, but they're sitting back in their box seats, watching the game, watching the show, right? Same type of situation. So, Mussolini, as I said, was set up, plain and simple. So they basically caught Mussolini and his mistress trying to flee to Switzerland. And they caught him and they held him for a while, and they basically executed him by firing squad, both of them, him and his mistress, right? So, this was a public thing. He was 61, and they did this publicly, and they hung his body upside down, and all the people came and they spit on him and everything like that. And it was a crazy scene that I can't post the pictures up here because they'll take the video down. But you can go and Google the execution of Mussolini, and you can see it for yourself. You can see the pictures from that day when it happened. So this is how it goes. Same thing happened to Gaddafi. We're talking about Libya, right? This is Roman territory when you understand the history. They put this guy in there to basically govern the people. This is what they do. This is their MO. They've been doing it for a long time. The reason why they let the Arabs come into North Africa is so that the Africans can get it and claim it and then discover all that history. It's important. They don't want us to know. So again, Britain has always had their hand in Egypt. They still do to this day. Why would you conquer? So you conquer a land, right? So this goes to show for Ethiopia as well, because we talked about this before. Why does Ethiopia have a constitution? Huh? That's some Roman shit. Why do they have a constitution? So they have these things because they were conquered. You think after they conquered Ethiopia, they say, okay, people, here you go, take it back, we're done. They still own and still run it, and as well as a bunch of African countries, because that's what they do. That's what they do. They go in, they instill somebody, a dictator. If you get too big for his britches, they wipe him out. Oh, your head's too big. You're not doing what we put you here to do. And a lot of that stuff is unspoken. We've seen what happened to Patrice Lumumba. Plain and simple, this is what's been going on for a long time. And all of this war and all of this death and destruction, you have to still understand that they're going to cover up history. And this is why you're not being taught the truth. So pay attention to history, man. You can see the pictures still to this day. We have pictures showing, the 1940s, 1950s, what have you on up of, Italian ships coming into North Africa, coming into Egypt, Alexandria, coming into Morocco, coming into Algeria, coming into Libya. And we can see these ships and these people coming off the ship. And this is how they got there. Now, this history is before a lot of you were born. So these people born in Morocco, born in North Africa, thinking that their history begins with them and that there was no conquest. You exist in North Africa because of conquest. And you can clearly look it up and see how your people got there, your history and what you really are. And it's a shame that a lot of people don't even know their own ethnicity, where they come from, their story. It's clear as day. It's just common sense. So as I said, the whole term sub-Saharan Africa was created to cover up, to hide, to steal the identity of the real North African people who were Black African people who were already there. It's just common sense. You can go and look at history and just pay attention to all this stuff. So you see the Berlin Conference, as I said, the same countries that fought in World War II. And what happened after that? World War II happened. So you had you had Italy in fucking Egypt fighting against the French and the British. Now, one of my favorite shows ever when I was growing up was Hogan's Heroes. I love that show. And Hogan's Heroes, if you watch the show, they had all kinds of people in there, all kinds of spies and everything. They had British, they had French, and they had Italian. So wait a minute. Italy was just in Egypt fighting against the British and the French. How is it that Italy now, a couple years later, are fighting with the Allied forces in World War II? Just that quick, right? Get rid of Mussolini, everything's changed, right? So that just goes to show what's going on. Because, the Italians were involved in World War II. Right after Mussolini was killed, things changed real quick. And then you had Italy join the war and help with the Allied forces. Because Italy's such nice people. Somehow, this one man had his butt and had control over the entire fucking country. This one guy. It goes to show you the agenda and who really is the puppet master. But the world is waking up and understanding this. People are starting to get it. There's no reason by now you can't see this deception. These people are all on the same team. We are the enemy. Plain and simple. It is not country versus country or leader versus leader. The whole bullshit with Trump and Putin and all that, these people are on the same team. It's hard for you to comprehend because of war. But again, Trump he's not lacing up his boots. He's not grabbing no gun and going out to the battlefield. Then you will look at it differently. Putin ain't going out there to fight nobody. He's not sending his kids to go fight, right? One of the deceptions that the British did, remember when they put Harry and William or what have you in the military, and they tried to make them seem like some war heroes and they seen action. Those people was well protected. There wasn't no danger at all. Period, point blank. It's all bullshit. But you got to understand that this is how it is. And all of it is a deception, is an illusion for you so they can keep doing what they're doing. Because if the people should ever figure it out, right, man, listen, we could change the world in a day, plain and simple, in a day, but it would take everybody. And it's just not going to happen. So you got to act accordingly and understand history if you really want to be on the right side of history and be in right knowledge. Because somebody who knows what the fuck they're talking about is going to be able to crush your argument. Now, I have nothing against Europeans. I have nothing against Arabs or what have you, but this is the truth. And they think that, and it's another thing that pissed me off, they actually have the nerve to say out their mouth, we are trying to steal their history, right? We're trying to steal their identity. Are you fucking kidding me? This is what I hear from people, and I get frustrated, And it's one of the reasons why I make these videos, because I'm like, I get frustrated because there are people who don't know history, and a lot of them are Black. And I hate when I see Black people not know their own history and can't argue this argument. So, sometimes when I do read comments and I'm like, somebody's arguing, because it happens a lot. And I'm like, dude, like, you should know this. This is a real easy thing to, dispute. And you can simply Google shit just like I've been showing you in this video. And I've been doing that for a reason, to make it easy. A lot of people say, hey, man, you use Google. Yeah, because that's what people want to use. That's where you're going to start your journey. And it's not going to give you the answer you want every single time, because they tell you the truth. You have to know where to find it, and you have to know how to look for it. Everything is in books. Everything is in books. And a lot of times when you Google stuff and you go really dig, you'll see the books that's giving you, the source of where that information that Google has compiled is coming from. And it is what it is. A lot of times it's conflicting, and it'll tell you, it'll say evidence, right? So when you have something like historical evidence to talk about in a religious video, historical evidence doesn't mean proof, truth. That historical evidence has to be backed up. And we can look at the historical evidence for Black people, Black Africans being in Africa. We can look at the historical evidence and say it's just evidence, but we can also look at the proof that support that claim. One, it's Africa. Two, we know as far as we go back, the artifacts and everything that we can find pertain to these people. These people who, when you hear people say, oh, the DNA of these people in North Africa goes back to Berber or goes back to this. Yeah, that's within your lifespan and your time frame. They're testing people that existed a few hundred years ago. They ain't testing bodies that existed thousands of years ago, right? We're talking about recent history. They're not going back far enough. They're going back within a time of recorded history. And we have so much to prove beyond that, right? So that's one of the things you got to look at. And you got to really just pay attention to the actual proven history that's agreed upon by the world. And everybody knows what happened during this conquest. So the crazy thing is how they're not teaching you real Black history. We get this bullshit in February that has nothing to do, with what Black history really is and everything that we went through. So we can go and look at the world and look at history and see European Arab colonization in Africa. So I want to thank you guys for taking the time to watch. And, whenever I get a lot of backlash or a lot of people talking about the same thing, I usually try to do a video. And this is something I talked about before, but I didn't really go into it this deep. But this was a quick video. It's still so much more. I want to make this a super long video. But clear as day, we can go and look at history. We can look and see conquest, colonization, right? We can see genocide. We can see in history that these people were basically enslaved, kicked out of their lands, and replaced by the people who we see today, this Arab and this mixture. Because all it is a person that mixed in with African, European, plain and simple. And that's why they have that look. It just is what it is, which Arabs themselves are also a mixture. So you could just say black and white mixing in and out. It basically repeating, because you have with the Arabs, who are basically, again, a mixed people. When you have the Aryans coming down, mixing in with the people, the Andaman and the people in India, or what have you, giving you the Persians and giving us later the Arabs, all the stuff I talk about. But these are a mixed people. What you got to understand, the main thing is that African people were here first. Plain and simple. Everybody comes from African people. They are the original people. Africans was here before anybody else. So how could you be indigenous to a land that was already inhabited before you even exist, right? Before you came into existence, black people were already there. Common sense. And it's how you just really kill the debate. But that's too simple for a lot of people, and they want more context, and they don't even want to accept that. Because I really legit spoken to people who believe that Europeans were here first because of dominance. I've spoken to people, Arabs, who think Arab is just a race that has always been here, that they're not a mixture. Same thing with Puerto Ricans and Dominicans, same thing with people in Mexico, what have you. They don't know what they are. They don't know their own history because they're not being taught that. They don't know that they're a mixture. They don't know. A lot of people have no clue. And that's why I put that video out, basically going into that whole thing. But if you actually do the research and look, you can find out the truth if you want it. But yeah, Thanks for taking the time to watch. Again, Scholar Society members, make sure you guys check your emails. You know where to go on Podia to find the new videos. Also, all links are in the description. People trying to join or people who want to do consultations. Consultations are still going on in March. So make sure you guys go ahead and book. All links is in the description. Thanks for taking the time to watch. Peace.